so she felt liberated. So I think that emotional journey, the overwhelmed, angry, but then eventually this liberation, this sense of freedom and personal empowerment is a story that I've heard from so many people. And that's the place that I want us to get to. So I'm going to just close with a couple of stories about some of the really wonderful, amazing things that I've seen along the way that I think are the signs that we are really making huge changes, and we're doing it together. And every single person in this room who took time out of their Saturday to come to the library is part of that movement. And together, we can do anything, and we are changing the beauty industry. And on the theme of power, the power of information, this is Skin Deep, such an amazing resource that the Environmental Working Group has put together. For those of you who haven't seen it, you should check it out. It has almost 30,000 products in it, matched up with 50 government databases, so you can look up your products and see how they score 0 to 10 on the toxicity scale. It's getting 5 million searches a month. That's an example of, if you look up shampoos, this is the most toxic shampoos in the database. And ironically, who's at the top of the list? My favorite company, L'Oreal Kids Shampoo, is the most toxic shampoo in the Skin Deep database, more so than anybody. And they're, of course, the largest beauty company in the world. But the good news, there are many, many companies, and many more that are on this list that are making safer shampoos. And this is just the first screen that comes up in Skin Deep if you look up the least toxic products in the database. And more companies all the time coming out with great new products, and now more makeup lines and all sorts of things that you didn't used to be able to get in the natural space is available. And the good news is innovation in science is really moving forward. This is a picture of Paul Anastas over here on your left, who is considered the father of green chemistry. And I did a talk with Paul a few weeks ago, and I pointed out that he is way too young to be the father of green chemistry. He's in his mid-40s, and he is now teaching at Yale. He actually just got married to the woman who does the green design program at Yale. Both programs are about a year old. And so the universities are finally starting to get this, that we can figure out how to make chemicals that aren't toxic, don't build up in our bodies, and don't pollute the environment. And that's the future. Amy Cannon on the top right is the world's first PhD green chemist. And she's a woman, and I love that. And actually, last year, more women graduated from chemistry programs in the US than men. So the science is changing, and we have the technologies to figure this stuff out. But we need to get the billion-dollar beauty company supporting this research. And, of course, the power of activism. And this is an ad that we did. We did a campaign against OPI nail products. Has anyone heard of OPI, that nail salon brand? Well, they have... If you've been in a nail salon, you've seen it. They're the largest seller of nail products worldwide, 70 countries. And they were using some quite toxic chemicals, dibutyl phthalate, formaldehyde, toluene. And we went to them and we said, hey, you have to take dibutyl phthalate out of your products in Europe. Why don't you take it out of your US products? Well, they weren't too keen on that. They said, no, we think those Europeans are crazy. Product's not as good, we're keeping it in. Well, OPI has fun nail polish names like I'm Not Really a Waitress Red and sort of fun names. So we decided to do a little spoof on their fun names, and we did our own ad where we came up with our own names, like I Can't Believe It's a Carcinogen. And then we went to Santa Monica and dressed up like beauty queens with little sashes that said mistreatment. And handed out information. Did you know that OPI is using chemicals banned in Europe in your nail polish? And got some press coverage, and reporters started to call the company. Thousands of women, nail salon workers, salon owners wrote to the company. And this all happened in May, and by August, the company announced that they were taking out dibutyl phthalate and formaldehyde and toluene, and now they're advertising that all of their products are free of those chemicals. So that was a huge victory. That was a huge victory, and it shows that we can change the industry. The companies are responsive, they are listening, and when they decide to change, they can change on a dime relatively quickly, and we still have products and they still work wonderfully, and the prices didn't go up. So while there's an initial resistance, we do see that it's possible to change this industry, and it's happening very quickly. So I wanted to commend everybody who's worked on that, everybody who's chosen to buy a product, who's chosen to even think about or research what they're using. And I'm going to do one last reading from the book, talking about this theme of power and what it's possible for us to do together. And this is a reading from the last chapter in my book, which is called Extreme Makeover, as in we need to give the beauty industry, the US government, and the economy a makeover. And this is a story about two of my favorite sheroes on the planet. The women went to the Dow Chemical Company shareholder meeting carrying 5,000 brooms and chemical-contaminated soil from their hometown. In India, the broom is a woman's symbol of power. Being struck by a jadoo broom is the ultimate insult, explained Champi Devi Shukla. By delivering jadoos to Dow, we're telling the company to clean up its mess in Bhopal. 2 decades after a chemical plant meltdown sent 27 tons of toxic gas into their sleeping city, the women of Bhopal, India, are leading the fight to bring justice to their people and to remind the world about the worst face of the chemical revolution. Mothers everywhere in the world carry chemical poisons in their breasts, said Rashida B., as she accepted the 2004 Goldman Environmental Prize with Shukla for their efforts in Bhopal. We are not expendable. We are not flowers offered at the altar of profit and power. We are dancing flames committed to conquering darkness and to challenging those who threaten the planet and the magic and mystery of life. Women have long been flames at the forefront of the fight for environmental health and justice, from Rachel Carson, who exposed the dangers of pesticides in her brave book, Silent Spring, to Lois Gibbs and the families of Love Canal, who put human faces on the someplace else of chemical waste dumps. To the women of Bhopal, India, and millions of others around the world who are fighting to clean up dangerously contaminated communities. Women have long borne the brunt of pollution and poverty, yet today more women have more power than ever before, especially in some areas of the world. We have more economic power and more political power. And as the primary shoppers and the largest block of voters in the United States, women can shift the balance of power and change the face of the future. We are the ones we've been waiting for, as the poet June Jordan said, and as Alice Walker called her recent book. It is the best of times, Walker wrote, because we have entered a period, if we can bring ourselves to pay attention, of great clarity as to cause and effect. We know now that the environment is us. It is our wombs, our breast milk, and our families. Protecting the environment is about enabling future generations of our children to thrive in their bodies unpolluted. And there is so much cleaning up to do. The problem right in front of our faces, the toxic products on the bathroom sink, is a great place to start. First, the beauty industry, and then on to the next cleanup project, the plastic industry, the petrochemical industry, the oil and war industries too, until there are no more toxic chemicals in babies, no more rocket fuel in breast milk, or communities burdened by toxic pollution, until we create new economic systems that are compatible with life and healthy for people and the planet. So that's the work before us, and that's what we're all here to do, and thank you so much for joining the effort to give the beauty industry a makeover.